Good day, everybody. Brian here from quantlabsnet.com. We're going to be talking about some new updates, some important, very important updates regarding everything in the world today on January 27. Okay, so let's talk about what's been going on. I've been running this little server now with the client strategies for over 24 hours. I haven't done the full on analysis yet, but everything seems to be still running over 24 hours. So that's great. It's kind of foolproof. So that's a good sign right there. All right. So, one of the other confusing things in my last video, I mentioned about how high frequency trading for retail traders, mom and pops, independents, whatnot, might be kind of overkill in trading. I still think it can still be used for buy buy signals and sell signals, and it can be very good for that based upon liquidity and volume. So I think that's where the value will be for mom and pop traders. Now, the other question is, well, what do you do about it? So I've been focusing all yesterday on Nukes uh, with aggregators and news feeds, and been testing everything out. So let me just show you what we're talking about here. So if you came into my quant analytics in the back end, you can get that through a trial. Uh, or very low price. So you can get access to all this. So I'm rejigging all my news stuff that I report, and basically what's happened is as I'm only focused on futures and options. Now, when I say options, I'm not talking about stock options, equity options. I'm talking about future on options. So that's important to distinguish there. So I've been posting, and all everything I'm showing you now is based around news feeds that I built out in a custom way, which shall remain nameless. But there's a whole variety of them. Okay. And this is really important because this is fairly fresh news in the last week. Um, and I'm playing around with the prompting to just only show me now, most recently, as of the last 10 minutes, is to only focus on the pricing of the actual strategy, um, and the pricing of whatever it's interested in trading with a forecast of an entry and exit and the reason behind it using news on top of what I just showed you with this thing here. Okay, so with the news, we're able to originally from yesterday I built out 16 custom feeds. What I started realizing is only five are kind of valuable. 16 of them, including every virtual news source you could imagine, over hundreds of them from major news outlets like Bloomberg or FT or CNBC. A lot of it's just noise. Okay. So if you want to be successful in this trading, you have to decipher between the noise and the signal, the valid signals. Now, with the noise, a lot of it is just intuition, a lot of it is very short term, a lot of it we can't control. This is it's exogenous, external. So the only real thing we could focus on is potentially the past, recent past of price direction and potential of price movement in the futures and options space. So I've got all these articles again here in my back end, all ranging from pretty well crypto, mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now with the CME, they just added a bunch of altcoins, which that news covers. On top of that, there's the Forex currency. I think this is where the real predictable way to make money is in, plus commodities, uh, treasury or bonds as just a thing to watch, engage, and the standard other future and option major markets, obviously the US indices and so forth. So in here, I've given I've built basically, as I keep saying, people don't know this. You can build out um, from the news and using. Now I'm not using real data. I am using theoretical data. So if I supplied what I'm going to show you real data, this would be much more accurate in terms of price and entry exit. So what you will see here is kind of off. of current pricing. Okay. So here, what we've got included among these instruments, we've got gold, silver, natural gas, euro, USD, the Japanese yen with the USD, Japanese yen, Bitcoin, Solana, New Zealand, US dollar, crude oil, and Ethereum. So that's what's projected to potentially move down the line. We also have here the different strategies, popular ones that everyone uses: options and bull call spread, futures long momentum, options bear put spread, and quite a few here. And that's all based upon the news that I fed it from basically this long prompt with all the targeting, all that's built out. So let me just show you how many lines we're dealing with here. We're dealing with about 2,000 lines of data. That's just from the last 24 hours. So this is pretty accurate. So when you look at this, and that's just part of the prompting to give me the drivers on its overall analysis on forecast of where things will go. So this is again built out around major news currently in the last 24 hours. So we're able to get what looks pretty good in terms of the overall market and where it's at. Again, the pricing here that you're seeing is not accurate, but it's just more about the trending. So once I provide it real data, then yeah, we can work with that. So, anyways, so here the drivers here, what we're looking at is USD weakness. Again, this is current news, last 24 hours. Dollar index at 2026 lows, driving commodity rallies. Precious metals super cycle, gold crushing, and silver. Okay, so this pricing's correct. With the gold breaking through 5,000, silver now currently at 117. So also there's a talk of an energy crisis because the natural gas prices, I guess, at $6 because of the deep freeze of this recent storm we had since Saturday, Sunday, coming out of the Texas region and going right across the U.S. and Canada. We also have here in the commodity space capital rotation with the Bitcoin and Ethereum trend. When you look at that, um, and then of course we have this geopolitical tension regarding a shadow fleet trade and Venezuela oil rehabilitation. So here's what we've got in the SIC based around um, what it projects based upon that current news as drivers. And looking at the gold here. So here we're looking at gold with a target of 5150, 5250 timeline over the next quarter. The way it's been going lately, it's been a matter of days. Okay. Silver, direction long, entry at 115 to 116, targets at 125, 130, timeline, obviously current quarter. Then we get natural gas, which is interesting. Um, with the long at 545, 560, with a target of 720 to 850. Okay. And then that's your timeline between February and March 2026. For the euro, or sorry, for the Forex, we have the euro USD. We can long here 18, 8 with a target of 119, 1205. So that's again the target of this quarter. Again, we have the other direction of a short on the USD Japanese yen, same target timeline. And then we have Bitcoin as well. So, of course, here we have 80,000 target at 94.5 or 105 timeline between 20 Q2 and Q4. So when you look at this, you can ask, and I can ask this to AI as the next step, is to say, based upon what you're supplying as data projection, which one should I go with that has the highest potential? Visually, you can see that as it stands right now, silver is pretty good. Natural gas, if that's true, is pretty good. And then the euro USD is pretty good too. And if you're willing to chance it, you go with the yen as well, because that's what's going to break everything as it stands right now, with the Bank of Japan intervening, which could untie a lot of this trade. But you can clearly see between gold and silver that we do definitely have a trend here. The trend right now is really pushed in silver. Okay. And then again, I can ask it to run whatever. I've already done the analysis. So I can ask it, what kind of analysis should I do? But I just want to show you that you can use a news to now reapply here into this similar architecture and rebuild an entire trading system around this news, which would be more realistic for retail traders, mom and pops, smaller traders. Up until this point, this was always that had that mindset of high frequency trading and fast trading. As I said, this would definitely work with um, for like for accounts of I don't know 500,000, 1 million over. But here's the better, more realistic way to trade for mom and pop in the futures and options market because this does include futures and options as well. So this will be very good for signal generation on the short term, very short term actually. And then on the long term, this is what you'd probably invest into. In here, you can see, based upon the news, that US indices are not the place to be right now. They've been flat, but this is what it's projecting will be the major drivers in the space here. So if you ask yourself, which ones would you rather be? Probably in the top three here. Oil's not included in here as well, but this trade right here for the natural gas, I don't know if that's going to be plausible or not. But again, I can, as part of this analysis, ask for probability on a forecast and how sustainable it is. So just wanted to point that out there. And again, if you want to know more about this analysis in detail and what drives what, give this a try here under quantlabsnet.com. Thanks for watching.